Welcome to Star-Powered Astrology for Changemakers. I'm Leslie Tagorda, your guide, a Hawaii-born Filipino-Jewish astrologer who loves navigating visionaries like you through the spiritual journey of your work so that you can be inspired to lead by your chart and become the luminary leader you were born to be. Hello, luminaries. It is Leslie Tagorda back with another episode looking at the Business Starcast for December 2022. Can you believe we're already at the end of 2022? There is so much to do in December, straight from Halloween all the way through the end of the year. It's just absolutely nonstop if you're anything like me. Well, December has got our back. I love December, not just for our holidays where we get to spend time with family and friends. Hopefully, we get to spend time with our friends and family in very healthy ways, even though there's all kinds of crazy viruses going on right now. But it's also such a beautiful time to not just look into the future, to vision and intend what we want in 2023, but also to reflect back on everything you have accomplished in 2022. Because you know what? It hasn't exactly been an easy year, right? We're still feeling the kind of the social upheaval and dismantling that was really sparked back in 2020. And we're still feeling those effects. 2023, we have a lot of wonderful things happening, a lot of shifts of energy that bring us into the future. So that is definitely something to look forward to. And December sets us up really, really nicely to smooth us into 2023. So if you are interested in hearing what's going to be happening in 2023, I will be offering another free masterclass happening on Thursday, December 9th on Zoom, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you want your free ticket, head on over to starpowered.com/2023. In 2023 in the stars, I'll be showing you all of the events that are happening in 2023 on the world stage. There's some big planetary shifts like Saturn moving into Pisces and Pluto leaving Capricorn for Aquarius. We'll also be reflecting back on 2022 and looking at how things showed up according to the big events that happened in 2022, like the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction and North Node meeting up with Uranus. And of course, looking at 2023, I'm going to be offering some insight as to how you can work with this energy in your change-making leadership in 2023. After all, the reason why we look at astrology and these different cycles is so that we can prepare and work in harmony with the cosmos. Okay, let's dive into December's Starcast. And December vibes, I'm feeling really optimistic about December vibes, especially since we've been through so much. I'm feeling optimistic that the vibes for December are going to be accomplished, reignited, and redirected. So, can we all just pause for a moment, dig our feet into the ground, and feel super supportive? Give yourself a hug and a pat on the back from me because you've made it through another 12 months. You've made daily choices to get to where you are now. I hope that you are feeling accomplished. Yes, because you've done so much. Now is the time to reflect and restore so you can reignite for the year ahead. Now, do realize that all of those challenges that you felt in 2022, they were not a waste of time. They were not any failures. They were such beautiful places of wisdom that you got to gather up new skills, new learnings, so that you can take them with you in 2023. Nobody can take those away. Now, if you're not yet feeling accomplished, maybe you're feeling a little bit resigned. And you know what? It's okay because 2022 has been really, really challenging, especially for us with a lot of Aquarius energy, thanks to Saturn just hanging out in Aquarius at those late degrees. But you know what? Life is an experiment. Now it is the time to redefine your desired outcomes and redirect your energy and commitment to try again. The end of the year has hopeful and optimistic energy to fuel your new year. I'm really, really looking forward to the new year. I know for me, with the challenges of 2022, with I've been, very vocal about the burnout that I suffered and like a little bit of the quasi depression because Saturn was sitting on my sun. And so if you are an Aquarius or an Aquarius rising, or maybe an Aquarius moon or Aquarius midheaven, with Saturn hanging out at that tail end of Aquarius, now making its way back forward, kind of repeating the themes that and the learnings and the crystallizations that we had back in February and March of earlier this year. There is this huge sense of relief. And you know what? Quite honestly, I'm super, super grateful for that downtime where I really purposefully opted out of not hustling, of not trying to make things happen, and allowed myself to rest, to recuperate, and to go in, because it was in those places of stillness that new things were birthed. And I'm just like so ecstatic with what's coming through in 2023. If I didn't have that time to go inward, I wouldn't have been able to create all that I have to offer in 2023. So I've been mentioning it a few times, and I just want to let you know that at 12/1, December 1st at 11:59 p.m., the founding rates for Star Powered Circle will be over. Like, honestly, I've made the pricing for Star Powered Circle. I don't want to just focus on pricing, but I want to talk about pricing just a little bit, because I know that there are a lot of us who are not yet making the kind of income that we want to make. And I don't want to deny anybody from this life changing, affirming astrology work. And so I did my best to make this as affordable and accessible as possible, with a founding member rate of only $111 for Star Powered Circle. And Star Powered Circle, think of it as a vessel for all of my most incredible work, from my 4-week astrology intensives to my training library that is already chock full with Written in the Stars, Star Powered Position, and moon rituals. There's just so much more in there. There's going to be twice a month meetups with new moon meetups where we can create our intentions together, planting our seeds together to support each other and empower each other even more. And I'll be also having these monthly star hours, which are like these speed readings plus hot seats all in one. Star hours are so incredible. If you've ever taken a class with me where at the end I'm answering people's questions and we're zipping through questions like 5 to 7 minutes at a time, people stay on for hours and hours and hours listening to everybody else's readings, because ultimately there's something in it just for you. And so Star Powered Circle, not only do we have astrology learnings that help you along your inner journey, as well as your outward expression in your brand, in your business, and your leadership using astrology, but we also have that community. And I'm super excited with what community will come forth, because I want us to support each other in our inner and our outer journey, because we have to do this together. There's no going alone when we're trying to make big things happen in the world. And I also have this vision where we are hiring each other, supporting each other, and creating really our own little constellation of commerce through that community. So if you are interested in joining Star Powered Circle, now is the time to get it for only $111 a month. So 12 monthly payments, or you get special bonuses if you pay in full for the entire year. Prices go up on December 2nd. And if you've been thinking about grabbing a one-on-one Astrobrand session with me, I've decided that I'm going to have one-on-one Astrobrand sessions available to only those in the circle right now. The reason is I'm really prioritizing these long-term relationships for accountability and support. I love being able to get into the nitty-gritty of everybody's businesses and hold them accountable for their dreams and their visions and inspire them in the ways that they need. So I'd like to offer my one-on-one sessions to just the people who are already in the circle. So if you've been thinking about getting a one-on-one session with me, you'll need to be in Star Powered Circle to get those one-on-one sessions. So head on over to starpowered.com/circle right before December 2nd to get a hold of those founding rates. So let's get back to December, because December is a beginning and an end when it comes to the stars, especially near the time of the beautiful solstice. The cosmos sparks up with Jupiter re-entering Aries and squaring off with the solstice sun. Now, Jupiter squares and suns, they're not that challenging, but there's a lot of energy that is being sparked. This cardinal square creates a fun and energized tension full of faith, hope, and optimism. And by the time of our new moon in Capricorn, our 13th new moon of 2022 on December 23rd, we'll have the sun, moon, a stationed Mercury, Venus, and Pluto all in Capricorn. Hello, Capricorn stellium. At this time, we will be looking forward by reflecting on all that we have accomplished. This reflection process is so vital in your gratitude practice, in just really taking an inventory of all the lessons and accomplishments you have made. And with Capricorn energy, with all of this Capricorn energy, this energy is in our bones, and this is for the long term. So know that all of your work has been for something. So this second 2022 Capricorn new moon bookends the year. We opened up 2022 with the Capricorn new moon, and now we're closing it off with another Capricorn new moon. Well, Mercury retrograde, and then we also have another Mercury retrograde that begins on December 29th, which starts a new chapter with the very last words and thoughts of the last month. In music, there is a term called an elision, where a musical phrase ends yet begins another phrase. And so it's this beautiful elision that Mercury retrograde brings us through from the end of the year into the start of the new year. Now, I've seen on social media people like posting like, oh no, the end of the year ending with the Mercury retrograde. Like, come on, people, stop that fear mongering, because we know that Mercury retrogrades are such a wonderful time to reset. And if you're not resetting at the end of the year, when are you going to make time to reset? So December, it's a beautiful season, a month full of delight and reflection, a true release of all of the challenges that you've overcome in 2022. You are exactly where you need to be right now. You are luminous. So let's take a look at some of the December cosmic shifts and the lunations before we kind of dive into the nitty-gritty details. So in December, we have, of course, Mars continuing its retrograde motion that started back in October. It's going to go all the way to January. So Mars is still heading backwards all of December. We have a Neptune retrograded ending on December 3rd at Pisces of 22 degrees. I want you to make note in your natal chart to see if you have any energies around Pisces of 22 degrees. Pisces is a mutable sign, so any mutable energies around 22 degrees is really going to feel this Neptune changing its course. Mercury enters Capricorn for an extended stay on December 6th. And we also then have Venus joining in Capricorn on December 9th. Jupiter now moving forward re-enters Aries, where it's going to just like zip. And I feel like Jupiter is like has its foot on the gas. It's going to zip straight through Aries in 2023 and touch down in Taurus. So, you know, for all of us that have a lot of Aries energy, sun, moon, rising, midheaven, just expect Jupiter just to make a flash dance all the way through. So Jupiter enters Aries on December 20th. And then, of course, Sun enters Capricorn on the solstice at December 21st. Lastly, Mercury retrograde begins, our fourth and final Mercury retrograde for 2023, starting at Capricorn of 24 degrees on December 29th. We have two lunations. We have our full moon in Gemini at 16 degrees on December 7th. And that full moon is really intertwined with that Mars retrograde. So, you know what? Just feel all the feels, really listen to your anger and let your anger or your fear be curious with it. Ask it what it wants you to know about setting boundaries for yourself. And then, of course, we have our new moon in Capricorn, Capricorn 1 degree on December 23rd. So let's take a look at, I'll just go kind of like week by week and take a look at some of like the bigger transits that are happening. If you get my business starcast, you'll have all of this in writing where there's a lot of details. I often put the degrees where transits are happening. If the first transit that we have is a Mercury square Neptune retrograde. And the reason why I put these degrees is when you start to really learn how to work with your chart, I'm looking for those sensitive points in your chart. If you have natal energies like your sun, moon, rising, or any of the other planets at some of these degrees, of course, you are going to feel them much more potently. And so that's why sometimes having the written write-up is really nice, because you can like look at your natal chart and look at those sensitive degrees to see if you will be more than likely feeling that transit. So let's get into that first week of December. I have a quote here for that first week of December by Eleanor Roosevelt. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Such a beautiful quote for this time of year, because this is a week where Neptune is the star of the show, as Mercury and Venus both square off with Neptune, and then the retrograde is over. With your dreams now running free, what feels spacious to reimagine and fantasize about? Neptune has been in retrograde since June 28th, so reflect on what's been shifting since that Cancer season. It might have felt like a lifetime ago. It's been quite a while. So use this time to be very intentional about what you want to do next in your big endeavors. You got this. Now, anytime Neptune is involved, sometimes there's not a whole lot of clarity. If you can learn to be comfortable with not having control and not really being able to see everything clearly, that is when you're going to be able to find and work with the magic of Neptune. So on December 1st, we have Mercury squaring off with Neptune retrograde. And this energy is inspired, dreamlike thinking. What signals are you now receiving? So pay attention to the symbols that come through, for they're showing you the way. If you are sending communications or doing a lot of transactions in this first week, please be hyper vigilant to triple check the details. And if you insist on writing an email or sending a memo, try doing it something a little out of the ordinary, like sending a song lyric or a haiku to get your point across with artistic Neptune. So this is going to be especially dreamy and productive for us mutable signs: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So December 3rd, again, this is when Neptune is shifting gears to go direct at the same time Venus squares off with Neptune. Both with planets with a lot of imagination, and some people say that Neptune is a higher octave of Venus. If Venus's process is to attract the right people and resources that we need to thrive, then Neptune connects us to the universal truths and the higher consciousness we need to be in bliss. So both very beautiful attraction properties. So again, Neptune retrograde ends at Pisces of 22 degrees. And I want you to be able to reflect on what dreams have been reimagined. So heading over to the week of December 4th through the 10th, we have another quote by Anne Murrow Lindbergh. I think she's a novelist, and she says, "Good communication is as stimulating as black coffee and just as hard to sleep after." So, this week is a great time to focus and muse on your communications as Mercury is the star of the show. They're entering Capricorn, the sign of structure and discipline and ambition, on December 6th. Right before a full moon in Gemini is a day of illumination. With Mercury, the natural ruler of Gemini, there they are to aid you in feeling bubbly and aligned with energy of lots and lots of ideas and lots of connectivity. Now, in Capricorn, again, this is for the long term. Venus is also doing a bunch this week. She's adding her allure to the mix when she joins Mercury in Capricorn at the end of the week, providing a rational way for you to approach your values and pleasure. Thank you, Capricorn. I love Venus in Capricorn. Get organized this week. The planets are here to help you align and spark your creativity. With 2 squares to Jupiter, the planet of expansion, also happening. So, December 5th, Mercury squares off with Jupiter. You might get a quick burst of chattiness. So, get to think about with whom will you share your insight. December 6th, Mercury enters Capricorn, where the theme for until February 11th is practical, sustainable attunement. You get a whole season because of this Mercury retrograde to think about what strategic communications keep you on track for your goals in 2023. Now through February 11th of the next year, Mercury spends a lengthy duration in determined Capricorn thanks to a Mercury retrograde that starts just before the year's end. Mercury in the thorough sign of Capricorn allows you to crystallize your mindset and your communications, especially as it pertains to your inner authority. And with this Mercury retrograde upcoming, you'll really get to rethink your New Year's resolutions to ensure that they are the ones you choose to commit to instead of those commitments bound from duty. This will be a great energy for year's end for reflecting on your accomplishments from 2022 and reassessing your success track into 2023. Like, how wonderful to be supported like this. If you're a luminary with natal Mercury in Capricorn, you are thorough and hardworking. Your attention to detail contributes to your success and work ethic. Be mindful that your mindset doesn't get too overburdened with all the things you can do for yourself and others. Set your boundaries on the most meaningful work and put your attention towards those goals. Mark your calendar for December 7th because it's our last full moon of 2022, a beautiful year-end reflection and release of all the mindset stories, especially those that pertain to fear, anger, and determination to be let go of once and for all. Just an hour after the full moon, the sun sits across the sky from the Mars retrograde, signifying yet another full illumination. So, this moon Mars sitting across from the sun, adding to reflecting and releasing what you have learned so far about this Mars retrograde in Gemini. Themes of re energizing, reaffirming, and re advocating through the mighty pen come up for you. You've had some shifts in your mindset, dismantling how you've repressed maybe rage or fear, and turn them into the power messaging that makes change in your work. Remember, rage and anger is a powerful reminder that your boundaries have been crossed. Get to the root of this and use your words to dismantle the systems that allow these trespasses. I just want to add a little note about rage and anger, right? For most of us women, we have been taught that rage and anger is not very womanly. And we've really been asked to not use our voice, not to advocate, not to get angry because that is so ugly. It amazes me how many client charts I read that always have like this really strong Mars, oftentimes aspected to Saturn or aspected to the moon, where we are holding on to so much anger and repressing that anger. I've had at least 3 conversations this week with clients in their one-on-one sessions where we're unraveling and dismantling this idea around anger, because these beautiful clients of mine who are doing such great work were holding on to their anger and, sharing with me how angry they were with the world or with coworkers or their jobs or their businesses. And I'm like, hold on. Anger is obviously trying to tell you something. And so we spent a lot of time to dismantle what that anger might mean. And so anger always tells us, and even fear tells us that a boundary has been trespassed. And my next question to my clients is always like, well, did you express your boundary? Meaning, did you speak up that there was a boundary? Did you speak up when somebody crossed that boundary? And oftentimes, we don't speak up when our boundaries are being crossed. And this just adds fuel to our anger, right? Until we're ready to explode. And so the next time you're feeling a little bit angry, you have a choice, especially with Mars and Gemini, to rethink and re energize your voice, to speak up about those boundaries that you have, and thank anger for reminding you that a boundary has been surpassed, has been trespassed, crossed, and that you have the power within you to use your voice and to speak up. We need you to speak up. We need you to feel anger, and we need you to thank anger for showing you what boundaries you need to speak up to. So, full moon, Gemini 16 degrees, giving voice to your sacred rage. I'll let you read that full write up on the Business Starcast. If you don't already get the Business Starcast, head on over to starpowered.com/Starcast. We're going to fast forward because there's a lot of details and I don't want you to like be overwhelmed with details. So let's fast forward to the week of December 11th through the 17th. We have a quote from Kiki Lane: acting is communication. It's giving and receiving. This week is thankfully a bit quieter with the Sun square Neptune, helping you to tune into your ideas so you can get clear on the details. We have a fourth quarter moon in Virgo, and this is going to help you tune into those details. And Mercury, the ruler of the finer ways to execute on your projects, will also briefly trine Uranus in Taurus to help you get grounded and clear on things. It's time to go from fantasy to reality in 1 week alone. Take this time to not rush, but let your natural logic arise and help guide you in all your endeavors. It'll be magical when earth and water align to help you relaxity get to where you want to be. So that fourth quarter moon that happens on December 16th, relax and reassess. It is a great phase to review. Because we're in that mode of reflection, if you love to do any kind of year-end reflections around what you've accomplished, your speaking gigs or your paid gigs or your clients or your sessions, I know at year-end we track a lot of different stats, everything from followers to emails open to budgets to even more beautiful things like how many new connections have we had, how many astro run sessions did we have, how many testimonials do we have? And it's such a beautiful way to reflect. And so in Virgo, review your stats. If you're looking at that last year, go for it. Or if you're looking for how to fine tune another offer, get your VA prepared to run some reports for you. There is so much gold in the details when you get to review and reflect with Virgo. Okay, we're closing out December. Let's fast forward to the week of December 18th through the 24th. I have a quote from Sarah Ban Breathnock, who says, "A fresh start, a new chapter in life waiting to be written, new questions to be asked, embraced, and loved, answers to be discovered, and then lived in this transformative year of delight and self-discovery." I just love that so much. A potent Capricornian week with the solstice and a second Capricorn new moon of 2022 bookending the year. We also have Jupiter and his expansive fiery energy entering Aries to form a loose square with a sign of hard work and structure. So prepare for a burst of jolt of maximization in grounded reality. I am here for it. I'll be coming on later on the month to talk more about the solstice as well as the new moon, so I'll hold off on the details there. And then that last week of December, from Christmas all the way through New Year's, the last page turned is a perfect excuse to write a whole new book, thanks to Tony Sorensen. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about December 29th because this is a big day where Mercury sparks his fourth retrograde cycle of 2022 while simultaneously dancing with Venus in the sky. Venus and Mercury adds for loving yet committed, thoughtful connections. Throw in Pluto, and these thoughtful connections are the most magnificent and magnanimous. So Mercury retrograde steps on the brakes at Capricorn of 24 degrees on December 29th. Of course, guess what? Retrograde in Capricorn, rethinking your goals. You made it. Another year in the book. What have you accomplished this year? So you'll get plenty of time to tune into that. Such a beautiful year end. And our very last day on December 31st, New Year's, happens to also be my son's birthday, who was born with like Sun Pluto conjunction. Oh my goodness, at the very last hours of 2015. This reminds me of this. Venus conjunct Pluto on December 31st. Magnetic, powerful, long-term relationships are in store. So on this day, I want you to think about what are the most important relationships in your life and your business. And I say that this transit reminds me of my son because, of course, my son is one of the most important relationships that I am so lucky to have received so late in life. I'm so grateful for him and the challenges that he prods with me because it teaches me to be a patient and more better and better person. So I'm wishing you a wonderful December. Again, there was a lot of details in here. So if you want just that written version to go back and forth through, grab my free business Starcast, and you can get that at starpowered.com/Starcast. So friends, that is all I have for you today. If you are still interested in joining Star Powered Circle at any of the levels, the circle level, the luminary, and the illustrious level that has one-on-one mentorship with me throughout the year, your last day to get those founder rates are December 1st. And then the rates are going to go up. They're still affordable even at the higher rates. It's just such a wonderful opportunity. I want to make this astrology work as accessible as possible. So please come join in. If you've already joined, thank you so much. I feel really, what is that word? It's more than grateful. It is so grateful. And it's also like validated. Right? It's validating knowing that so many of you have already raised your hand to participate in this community. It's validating that this work, it's time for this work of astrology on our spiritual journey of inner healing and outward leadership and expression to come together in community. So head on over to starpowered.com/circle and come join us. We have so many wonderful luminaries already signed up. All right, my friends, it's Leslie Tagorda signing off. Have a beautiful December. As a human design projector, my energy shines more brightly because of people like you who share my work. If you enjoy this podcast and want to help build a movement of innovative astrology and leadership and spark the intuitive revolution, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, or better yet, share this podcast with your change-making besties. We will all shine brighter together as we create the future we want to see.